What a joyous time of the year it is, specifically if you are a Minnesota Vikings fan. This, courtesy of the Vikings Entertainment Network, is our 2019 Vikings release special, featuring former Viking Ben Leber, Ron Johnson from Vikings Game Day Live on Fox 9, and Wobby from Vikings.com. Now, here is an overview of the entire schedule from Atlanta at home through Chicago at home. Speaking of the home opener, Ron Johnson, we begin with Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, I think it's a great test for this defensive backs. I mean, Mike Zimmer said it. Xavier Rhodes needs to play up to his $72 million or, a top DB. You're going to have Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, and then, of course, Calvin Ridley. And so with Matt Ryan, that's a great trio of guys to deal with in week one, which can be a litmus test for the rest of the season.
I think it's also interesting that the Vikings will have 2 road divisional games in the first quarter of the season. I think that's a good barometer test for them as they come out of the offseason program and training camp and the preseason. Where are we as a team? Let's play 2 divisional road games and find out.
Ben Leber, a decade in the National Football League. On a day like today, or this time of the year, schedule release time, from a player's perspective, when they get hold of the schedule, what are some things they're looking for?
First of all, I would say a quick disclaimer. I did not get the pullover memo.
Yep.
So I apologize that I'm actually in a jacket. You guys are in a polo. You guys look much nicer than
You always have to show us up.
Yeah, you look terrible.
I apologize for that.
We can't put pocket squares in pullovers.
I know, but you guys look so much more comfortable than I do.
Okay.
Okay. As players, we looked at, sadly, we looked at weather. Where's the hottest game going to be? Where's the coldest game? Or games, where the game's going to be? And right now, the way you look at the schedule, there's a lot of domed games, and then we're getting a lot of cold weather teams early in the season. The only one that's a catch is Seattle after the bye week, and that's going to be probably in the mid 40s, high 40s, maybe 50s, and a little bit of rain, a little bit of mist. So not that big of a deal. So from a player standpoint, a comfort standpoint, should be optimal football conditions.
The Vikings have 5 primetime games this season. The first beginning middle of the season at US Bank Stadium. It's week 8. It's Washington here for Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, it is Adrian Peterson coming back to US Bank Stadium. It is Kirk Cousins hosting his former team. And I think just as important for Mike Zimmer, it's finally a home game on a short week Thursday night.
Yeah.
He has been pining for that for years. It's the first time he's gotten it, and so I think he's going to be happy about that.
Now, the second means the Minnesota Vikings head to the Dallas Cowboys week 10. Ben Leber, Dak Prescott, maybe more importantly, Zeke.
Yeah, this game all to me is about Zeke and that running game. Obviously minimizing some of the play action as you see right there. A lot of the short, quick passing stuff from Dak. I think that's where he can hurt you. You got to put him in situations where you shut down the run game, ask Dak to put the team on his back. I think he struggles in those areas, and it's a rebuilt, much better defense. So you have to watch out for that as well.
The Vikings come out of the bye week with a Monday Night Football game at Seattle. So you get an extra day. It's a Monday Night Football game. It's also against Russell Wilson, who has given this team and many teams problems for years. What do you think, Ron?
I mean, dating all the way back to the freezing cold game at TCF Bank Stadium, Russell Wilson's been a problem for the Vikings. And now $140 million, 107 guaranteed. Let's see if that chip is still on his shoulder if he plays the way he's playing, or does he become one of these prima donna high-paid quarterbacks who kind of just takes it easy. But this is an NFC matchup that, one of these teams could knock the other out the playoffs at that point.
The penultimate primetime game, Sunday Night Football, Week 15 at the LA Chargers.
Yeah, I think a fine-tooth comb through the schedule, you might surpass this one and not think too much about it, but Vikings fans, especially those local here in the Midwest, mid-December, head out to Southern California. Vikings fans always travel well, but if the Vikings are in the hunt, I think this is a game where the opposing stadium or the opposing fans will invade the home stadium. There'll be a lot of purple in Los Angeles.
Week 16, the 2019 penultimate game overall. The Minnesota Vikings host Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Ben?
Well, you're always going to get a big-time division opponent late in the season. So I love the fact that we're playing them the second game of the season at Lambeau Field. New culture, new coach, new offense. They got a whole new vibe. It's a good time to catch them there. And it's also a good time to catch them at the end of the season. You're not playing outside Lambeau Field at the end of the season, so it's not going to be cold. You're going to play in the friendly confines of US Bank Stadium. And with everything on the line, we play really well against the Packers at our place. So I like that.
With the NFC North games, there is a common thread. Let's begin with the division games that are on the road. That's en vogue early in the season, beginning in week 2.
Yeah, it is. And building off of what we talked about earlier, I think it's a great barometer for the Vikings as a team early on. How are they doing? What adjustments need to be made? You're going to self-scout after this, but I think obviously the way the schedule lays out, it's favorable to catch these road games early, and then if you earn the right to be in the hunt, you get the home games against the division opponents later in the season. But I really like the first quarter of the Vikings schedule as a barometer.
Now, the common thread to the NFC North games, Ron, you have road games early, as Wobby mentioned, and home games late, including 3 in December, beginning with the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, to have all 3 of your division games in December, it's going to come down to health. That's going to be late in the season. How healthy are you? Everybody's played through this many games. Everybody went through training camp, so everybody's trying to stay healthy. But if you want to win the NFC North, that's the time. You win the NFC North by beating the Bears, Lions, and the Packers at home. Honestly, I think it's between those 3 Bears, Packers, and the Vikings. Nothing against the Lions. I just don't think they're going to be in the running. So you can knock off those 3 at that time, you can win the NFC North.
Now, there definitely are some can't-miss games on this 2019 schedule. Ben, where do you begin?
I'm going to go all the way back out to LA.
Really?
A piece of my heart still with the Chargers, so it's going to be fun to go back out there.
For the Ben Bowl?
For the Ben Bowl.
They drafted you, yeah.
They drafted me, and you're right, Wobby. There will be a lot of Vikings fans there, but we were always used to that even when we were in San Diego. So it'll be really no different that they're in Orange County. They're used to playing in those situations. Listen, this is a great offense. They're going to have Hunter Henry back. He's a big missing piece for their offense, and then they got Derwin James on defense. And Derwin James is one of the most exciting young players in all of football. So you're going to get a special treat, and it is again a great barometer to see where you stack up against one of the best in the AFC.
And that guy Melvin Gordon we just saw cutting loose. Now Shamar Stephen back in the mix for the Minnesota Vikings. Shamar, Linval, really good run-stopping defense. They'll need it against Melvin Gordon. Ron, with his can't-miss game, he's going to go to middle of the season, Thursday Night Football, U.S. Bank Stadium, and get romantic.
Yeah, I almost said Seattle just because Monday night you'll get Sierra singing probably at halftime. but I'm going to go Washington because Adrian Peterson's been begging for a chance to play against his old team.
Yeah.
He said, I would run for 200 yards on you guys in practice all the time.
Okay.
Now he has his chance. It didn't work out with the Saints. The other key piece of that, Kirk Cousins. We've never seen him really play with a chip on his shoulder. 4,000 yards, but this is a chance to really show your old girlfriend what you're with your new girlfriend and how you're feeling. I mean, that's shaving, that's wearing, new clothes, getting ready a little bit sooner.
Can we talk about spray, huh? Can we talk about
body
football?
spray? He's gonna come out fired up, chip on his shoulder, ready to show Jay Gruden you made a mistake.
Yeah.
And then Case Keenum. I think Case Keenum feels slighted. You gave this guy $84 million. If he is the starting quarterback, he's going to want to outduel Kirk Cousins at home at US Bank Stadium in front of those fans that love Case Keenum.
Last time Case Keenum was at US Bank Stadium, we all were witness to a miracle. Wobby, your can't-miss game.
It's the border battle. It's Green Bay Packers at US Bank Stadium. You know what they've never done at US Bank Stadium?
Tell me.
They've never won at US Bank Stadium.
Love it.
All right, so week 16, I think both teams should be in the playoff hunt, maybe trying to win the division, maybe trying to lock up a home playoff game, home field advantage. I'm very much looking forward to this game, not going to overthink it. It's Vikings, it's Packers, it's Monday Night Football. I can't wait to watch them.
And for me, from the be careful what you wish for category, my can't-miss game, week 4, Soldier Field, against the best in the NFC North, the Chicago Bears. Not only will we see where the Vikings stand at that stage of the season, but without well-respected defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, we'll see where the Chicago Bears stand at the end of the first quarter of the 2019 season. For Ben Leber, Ron Johnson, and Wobby, I'm Paul Allen. Thank you for taking in the Vikings schedule release presentation. And if you would like to catch the Vikings at US Bank Stadium, sign up for ticket alerts at vikings.com/ticket alerts.